Welcome to 8 Simple Steps and our LinkedIn Live series. Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? The trials and triumphs along the journey. I'm Maureen Edwards. I'm the founder of 8 Simple Steps, and I have a company that actually works with entrepreneurs who are just starting, who are struggling and need turnarounds, or are scaling their business. And I remove the overwhelm and complexity of the process so that you can thrive and survive in a sea of competitors. And we do this together in 8 Simple Steps. And I want to welcome everybody here tonight because I actually created this series for all the entrepreneurs out there who are in the journey and want to meet some other rock star entrepreneurs out there who are also either starting and have such success for those who have been in business for a while. And I want you to take some of their inspiration, their tips and resources, and be able to implement them into your business. And I have a rock star tonight that I am so excited about because not only is she an amazing entrepreneur, inventor, innovator, but she's also a personal friend. So I want to introduce you to Sue Carr of CarrTech Corp. And Sue, welcome tonight.
It's a pleasure to be here, Maureen. Excuse me. So, as you know, I'm Sue Carr, and I've been a clinical pharmacist and a retail pharmacist for over 30 years. Um, I started out while attending pharmacy school in Boston and working as a pharmacy technician. And one of my primary responsibilities was to batch large IV bags using a lot of medications packaged in glass ampules. And most of you don't know what a glass ampule is, but this is what a glass ampule looks like. The problem is to get to the medicine, to access the medicine, you have to snap the neck. And 100% of the time, glass shards get into that ampule and contaminate the medication. Therefore, the process to eliminate the glass shards is a multiple needle, multiple step process, which involves exchanging of needles and increase in possibility of needle stick injuries, and it takes a long time. And I was doing this day in and day out, and I thought it was really hard and cumbersome and complicated, and wondering if I filter it or not. And so I asked my supervisor, I said, there's got to be a better way. He said, come up with a better way, and maybe you'll be a millionaire one day. So after pharmacy school, I went to retail for many years, managed CVS, a wide chain drugstore, and opened up stores and traveled all over Northern Virginia and Maryland. But my passion was always hospital. So I went back after 17 years in retail, and I kept seeing the same problem. I was a clinical pharmacist, which means that we work side by side next to the doctors. And sometimes I was in ER, sometimes I was in ICU, IMCU, NICU, you all over the hospital. And I noticed that the process was still cumbersome and time consuming. And I saw the pain of my technicians struggling. So I decided that it was time to make a change. It kept bothering me and eating at me. So one of my customers from CVS was a patent attorney, and I asked him to help me prepare a patent, which he did. And I found a company. It took us 2 or 3 years to get the patent approved. And once we did, I figured, well, I need a company to manufacture it. So I went to Denver, Pennsylvania, where there was a nice company. It was called Precision Medical Products, but it's been taken over by Roachling, I think. And they said, well, we can't build the mold. And I was very rejected and despondent at the time, but I didn't give up. I was introduced to a company down in the Research Triangle area called Galero back around 10 years ago, and I started working with them, and we brainstormed and came up with a working prototype, which I now call FROG, filter removal of glass.
And I I love this. All right, so before you share it with everybody, I have to say I love this story, because what you had, you noticed a gap in a marketplace, in a really important marketplace, which is dealing with patients every day and having to save lives. And you had an aha moment and said, I'm running with this. You took a very calculated risk, but still a risk, and said, I'm going to put it on the line and come up with this invention. And so this is why I feel like you're the all-American entrepreneurial dream story. And that's why I just think this is incredible. This is right in my wheelhouse, but I think other entrepreneurs have to see that whether it's a service or a product, if you have an idea and you've really identified a problem, you should go for it, especially one as big as this. So tell everybody what that little the frog is. I'd like to show it to
So
people.
rather than exchanging needles, once you break that glass, you have to filter the ampule with the filter needle and then recap it. And that's where a lot of the needle sticks happen. And remove it, discard it, and place on a new sterile hypodermic needle. So that takes about a minute and a half. We ended up, I have to give a shout out to Shady Grove Hospital because they saw my vision, and they all supported me from the start. So I invited all of it. When you have an idea, it took me a while to understand that I was even an entrepreneur. I had no idea I was an entrepreneur. All I knew was I had to solve this problem with a simple solution. A wise man once told me, make it simple. So we did. So basically, I made an all-in-one package, one needle filter device that is cost-effective, safer, quicker, easier, greener, and will revolutionize the filter needle industry with our disruptive technology. So this is it. So basically, all you do, I have a broken ampule here. All you do is withdraw the fluid and remove the outer cover, and you're ready for injection.
Unbelievable.
It takes about 30 seconds or less.
So it's like 3 steps compared to like the 8 steps that people would go through. And I mean, I understand the medical community, but for people out there, you don't realize how dangerous using glass ampules are and having to filter that with very common medications. And so this is really a revolutionary product. And that's why I get so excited. But I'd like to know from you, why didn't you think you were an entrepreneur? I mean, this is
I was
innovation.
I was working full time, raising 2 children who are now on their own. But it was stressful, and I was doing this at night. And I think back then there wasn't like a label entrepreneur. There wasn't, I didn't even know the word. I knew the word, but I never associated it with myself. I think I realized it when I left my job and I applied for my first Prelude pitch at TEDCO. Anyone in Maryland, I highly recommend TEDCO for helping you figure out everything, or FITSE out of Frederick, which is an incubator accelerator. And I took accelerator incubator classes out of FITSE, Frederick, and Nova Personalized Health Accelerator existed. It's disbanded since then, but they really opened my eyes to learning about the whole business model, lean canvas, right? What a value proposition is. I had no idea what a value proposition was. And then I had to prove it, which meant I had to get out of the house. You have to ask people, is this something that you want? I had to prove that there was a problem, there was a gap, and I needed to make a solution. So we rented, my girlfriend and I, Terry, she was a pharmacist, and then I brought another pharmacist, John Nazaro, on, and we all kind of banded together, and we decided, well, we need to figure out if this is something that everybody wanted. We had already interviewed over 100 health participants, and so we we rented out a hotel room and invited all of our healthcare workers to come and try the current system and then try Frog, which is what this is called. It's filter removal of glass. So
This is exactly what I think other entrepreneurs need to understand is what you did was unbelievable extensive market research. It's great to have an opportunity that you've identified or a gap that you've identified, but if people don't really know or think they need it, it requires education and it requires research. And what you did was focus groups. You brought people in focus groups and said, hey, I have this. Can you please tell me, one, if it would make a difference for you, and test it for me? I'd like to see how the whole thing works and I need your feedback. So even if people don't have products like yours, which is on that biotech side, there's a lot of complexity, a lot of moving parts. It goes with everybody. You've got to do your research on your value prop, which was so important.
you have to refine it.
You do, and the audience, and who is going to really, what value this is going to have for that target audience. So I love the fact you got everybody in a hotel room. I said, you don't have to rent a hotel, you can bring them over to your house.
I think I invited like 200 or 300 people, and 30 to 50 people showed up.
Oh, that's typical, right?
Yeah.
That's like an event, a webinar. Yeah, about a third will come.
And I would have liked to have had alcohol, but
well, I was going to say, if you put
Yeah, food.
cocktails on there, you would have had the full group show up. So
not in healthcare.
no, not, and they may not have given you the real feedback that you wanted.
Exactly.
But so for other entrepreneurs, the other thing you mentioned is that you took a group of people, that you didn't do this alone. I think you recognized that you needed to pull in a support system of people who could help you with this. And entrepreneurs don't know everything. I know we like to sometimes think we can do it all on our own, but I thought that was really smart that you said, you know what? I need some other people to band with, and I need to take classes and reach out to people like TEDco or, so I think that's an important part of this conversation for people.
It is. It's finding the resources and going out and I started attending Women in Bio, Society of Physicians Entrepreneur, anything I could to get the word out. And maybe they looked at me like I was crazy. I don't know back then, but now they're not looking at me like I'm crazy anymore. And then I started building my village of supporters from FITSE, from TEDco. I took an I-Corp class, which I highly recommend. There's an intro to I-Corp, which is only 3 weeks, but it got me out of the house to talk to the thought leaders who understand where I'm coming from and understand the problem and the solution. And that was really important. And then I started applying for grants. I'm still applying for grants. One of these days I'll get it. I know.
So for other entrepreneurs out there, what advice would you give them? Whether they just have a simple service or e-commerce products, or they're inventing and innovating things that are a little bit more complex. An entrepreneur is an entrepreneur. What advice would you give them?
Well, first of all, you have to have the passion, and that's the why. Why are you doing that? If you truly believe and truly are passionate, people are going to see your passion. They're going to believe you because you're talking from your heart. That's number one. Number two, you've got to get out of the house. And I know in a COVID environment you can't, but you can do Zoom meetings. You can do calls and don't be afraid to call the director of nursing, at a hospital. It can't hurt, right? And then you have to figure out what your value proposition is. And that might be taking, I first found out about a value proposition and I thought it was a geeky class, but I was sitting, it was one summer and I would sit by the pool. There was a free class on how to build a startup by Udacity. You can get an app. So I got this app and I'd sit by the pool and spend 15 minutes, doing a lesson a day. And then I realized that I did need to interview people. So then I took an I Corp class. And then I went to, I tell people my first and my best day of my life was the day I left my full time job. It's like jumping off a cliff. It's scary, but and I wouldn't say leave your job and do this yet until you know that you have to, until people are telling you to make this, productive, you've got to put full time. And I was burned out, and I knew that I had to make a change. And then I pitched at TEDCO, a prelude pitch, and I stunk. I was really bad. And I realized I needed help, and I started attending TEDCO workshops, and I met a guy, Ira the storyteller, so I hired him to help me pitch and learn how to pitch. You've got to build a pitch deck, and you have to know what a pitch deck is and what you need in it, and you have to show how you're going to make money.
Oh,
Investors,
yeah.
they don't care anything except they want to know how you're going to make money. That's really important. So then I started surrounding myself with others, people that are smarter than me and better than me, and the word gets
Wow.
out, and you get to be where I am now, right? And you have to be willing to pivot. I know at first I had a one design, but I had to switch it around to make it work, and I'm okay with it now. But you can't love your product so much that you can't be willing to change.
That is excellent, excellent advice. Entrepreneurship is all about flexibility. I think you obviously saw that. So, why do you think entrepreneurs out there um, find it really difficult to seek others to help them with their journey? Because you did an amazing job saying, I want somebody smarter, I want somebody who knows more. I'm really serious about this. So, a lot of entrepreneurs don't feel that way. They take it all on themselves and don't seek people who have maybe walked the journey before them, who can really get them up and running faster. Do you see, why this would be happening with entrepreneurs?
There's a lot of entrepreneurs out there, and it's not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. You can't. I mean, for some people like Bill Gates or Stephen Jobs, so you go in your basement and you came up with this great product, and boom, you're it. That's not the real world. That's maybe 5 people out of billions of people that have made it that way. So
Mhm.
you have to be passionate and never give up. I never gave up. There are a lot of highs and there are a lot of lows. So you have to find a balance. You have to find some peace in your life and be mindful so you don't lose it altogether, and get frustrated. So many times I've gotten frustrated and turned down for patents, and I just kept going and kept reapplying, and I now have 4 patents. Um,
Oh
and
my
we're gonna, yeah,
And so now you do truly feel like an entrepreneur, right?
I
You're going to
do,
tell
I
me.
do. I'm trying to get comfortable in my shoes.
Well, it took a little bit, but I mean, you're doing something that very few people can do. But you've said so many key things, Sue, that I think are so important. And another one is sales. Sales for entrepreneurs sometimes is a dirty word. I hate to say it, but nobody seems to be comfortable in selling. And really, what you did when you said, I got to get out of the house, I got to get on Zoom meetings, I got to get this product out there, that was a form of selling it. It isn't just that it's commercialized and you're selling it to distributors and getting into hospitals. No, you actually said, with your passion, knowing that this was a value, I got to get it in front of people. They need to know about it. I need to educate them. People have a tendency to kind of stay in the basement and think, I'll just post or I'll get out there and do all the digital side. But you did the real face to face stuff. So, and it doesn't have to be just for a product where you feel like you need to do a prototype and have them use it and try it. No, even a service, you need to get out there and talk about the
You
value
do.
you can bring to people's lives with what you have.
And what I've found is it's such a positive culture. I was in the builder fund at TEDCO, and we all kind of support, and I still am, right? We still meet once a month, and I meet with the women's advisors, and we all support each other and provide information. Oh, did you try for this pitch competition? And you have to reach out any type of competition, any type of anything you can, just apply everywhere. And the worst they can say is no. You'll get 100 no's before you get one yes, but all it takes is that one yes.
Yeah, I love it. So in your journey, I just want to share, you've had, like you said, some ups, some downs, lots of challenges, but what sticks in your mind as the biggest challenge in this process, and how did you overcome it?
Every day there's
Oh, I don't want to hear every day. Entrepreneurship is hard. We always say it, and every day there's
is.
something. But when you look back, like overall, what was the greatest thing in front of you out of all of these things that you've conquered?
I think it was believing, and it still is believing in myself. I know a lot of people suffer from imposter syndrome. Google it if you don't know what it is. And you have to be humble and grateful, because I am. And I've had a lot of help from a lot of people, and I could, go on for hours thanking people. But I think the biggest challenge for me is accepting the fact that I'm a rock star.
Oh, you are a rock star. Oh my gosh. If we're gonna do anything, that imposter syndrome is a no-go. No-go for you. So what would you say is the greatest success you've had so far?
Probably negotiating, thanks to my CEO and CFO, and becoming a corporation and negotiating deals with, I call them the BNC, the Big Needle Company, our licensing partners. So there's more to come in the next 6 months, but I can't speak on that so much.
Proprietary stuff.
That's kind of like when I started my journey. This is where I wanted to land, and I did it. And so I'm, hopefully, I mean, it can all crash and burn tomorrow, and that's something you have to remember too. But it won't.
It absolutely won't. And your mindset is amazing. It's positive, it's moving forward, it's getting up. If it doesn't work out, or you feel like something just fell apart, and I say that, entrepreneurs, if you're listening out there, listen to Sue right now. Just get back up, no matter how many no's you have received. Just keep moving forward. I mean, this is like the perfect example. And that's why, when we think of America and we think, I want to, come to America and the American dream, I want to own my own business. Doesn't everybody want to own their own business? And yet, 2,739 just, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, 7,739 just went out today, and will tomorrow, and did yesterday. And so it's really, really hard. But the advice you've given is like unbelievable. Surround yourself with good people. Educate yourself on entrepreneurship. Learn everything you can about it.
Read.
Yeah.
There's a couple of really good books out there. Scaling Lean, Running Lean, Think and Grow Rich.
Yes.
Million.
Yeah. I mean, that you've got to educate yourself as much as you can as an entrepreneur, so that you can start up in the right way, so that you can make the right decisions, so that if you're not making the right decisions, you know exactly how to pivot quickly and figure it out. And, reading can only take you so far, and all that education. But what you did was then seek people to take you to the next level. And that's the whole idea, is having people take you to the next level. So, all right.
And
So go ahead.
finding a balance. Like schedule in your schedule. If it's not on my schedule, I won't remember. So I have to
Mhm.
schedule everything in. And the night before, I look at my schedule and know what I'm doing the next day. Know what time I have to get up. Wake up the same time, go to sleep the same time. Try to get 7 or 8 hours of sleep. Although as a pharmacist, we are lucky to get 5.
Oh,
You know,
as an entrepreneur, there's flexibility out there. That's one of the reasons people leave their job.
exercise. I have a routine every day. I'll get up and meditate, then I exercise, and I go to work and take a breath during lunch, right? You might not have time to eat, but
You
try
know,
to eat.
everything that's coming out of your mouth right now is like the best advice out there. If people they've got to watch the replay if they're not here, because I mean, what you just said is get up every day and have a schedule, have a roadmap of what needs to get done. And it's discipline, is what it is. And I always say, write things down too. I don't know about you,
Yeah.
but I write them down. I don't type them in the computer or anything like that. I have to see them in front of me, to really like move that needle forward. And I mean, everything that's coming out of your mouth, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to take little snippets of this and put them everywhere. So, what's next for CarrTech? What's next for you?
We have a couple of different products. What's next is within, I think Q4, we anticipate submission for our first device to the FDA. We just finished human factor studies in the US. We're conducting them in EU in about 2 weeks in early May. And we're preparing packaging, labeling. I got a package today. I can't
Ah,
say it. And discussing QR codes, right?
yeah, we were discussing how to do that. I keep
Yeah.
telling you, that's
And
as
then we have
simple.
other products in other sizes so that you'll be able to inject directly into a patient. And we're also talking to other drug companies about some other products, which I can't get into at the
No,
moment due to NDAs.
all I can say is, you've started, and now you're actually scaling and thinking of other different products and
Yeah,
channels of
we're
distribution.
figuring out what it's going to take for us to get the the number down to a point where we can start making money.
You will start making money. Every startup has to understand, every company, and you're no longer a startup. You are kind of that growth stage. So, but everybody who is just starting or in growth or just, you know what, it takes a little bit of time. There's got to be money going out in order to bring money in. But just keep in mind, you've got to have a product that is a rock star product with a rock star team behind it. And I know who you have on your team, and they are quite amazing. So
Yeah, I want to thank my CEO, John Noel, and Maria Schultz, and Terry Lapatka, and John Nazaro, John Brzezinski, Rick Ewan. Those are all my main players in business, biology, and science. And basically, you have to have something that people want. I know we started that. It must be disruptive, revolutionizing, and you need those power words in your speaking, and don't ever give up.
oh, great advice. So if people want to reach out to you, Sue, and learn more about CarrTech and Frog, can you tell people where to reach out? How to
Sure, you can
contact you?
check the website, and that's CarrTech, CARR, 2 R's, TECH, like technology, CarrTech Corp. We're a corporation now. CarrTechCorp.com. CarrTechCorp.com.
Great, great. Sue, I am so happy you took 30 minutes out of your day today. And did the 30 minutes fly? Didn't I tell you it would
Yeah,
go
you
like
did.
super fast? So I want to thank you so much for being
Thank you for
here.
this opportunity, Maureen.
Oh, you're so welcome. And for all of you entrepreneurs out there, I really hope you picked up some great tips, really good inspiration, understanding this journey. You're not alone in it. You're seeing it right in front of you, and you're seeing somebody who had the challenges, who's overcome it. And look, talk about a rock star. Talk about a rock star product, rock star company, and a rock star founder. All right. This is what I want everybody to have. So please reach out to me at 8simplesteps.net if you have any questions, or if you would like to be a featured entrepreneur yourself and share why you're doing it and help others on the journey. Have a great night, everybody. See you
Thank
soon.
you.